Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them is directed by David Yates, who's made every single Harry Potter film in the franchise ever since Order of the Phoenix. And this stars Eddie Redmayne as Newt Scamander, a guy who is looking through old New York City 70 years before Harry Potter ever read his book in school for various creatures that have escaped his suitcase. He goes around collecting feared creatures who a lot of people want exterminated immediately because he feels that if he can take care of them and nurture them, he can create a relationship with these creatures, thus showing other people in the magic community at this time that some of these creatures really don't mean them any harm. So not only is Newt trying to go around New York City and find all of the creatures that have escaped his case, he's also trying his best to make sure that no one finds out what's really going on. Now obviously I'm a big Harry Potter fan. If you guys have been following my channel this year, I reviewed every single Harry Potter movie and I enjoy all of them. Some are better than others. So I was really excited for this movie. It's also written by J.K. Rowling. So this is the first time that someone who is a hardcore Harry Potter fan can actually go to the film to experience things for the very first time without actually knowing what's going to happen. Also, Harry Potter fans can go to this movie and not be wondering what they got right and what they got wrong when they're comparing it to the book, because this is her original screenplay. And once again, she has shown herself to be one of the most imaginative writers working today. I really enjoyed Fantastic Beasts. I so admire her imaginative qualities as a writer. This world has so many cool things in it that make the child inside of me get really excited. I loved all of the creature design. Everything looked so cool. Just like in all the other Harry Potter films, I want to own or at least befriend at least half of the creatures in this film. But pushing my fandom of the Harry Potter universe aside, what I really liked about this movie was the way it's constructed. David Yates once again proves that he's a director who understands this world, which is why I'm glad he signed on to the sequels to this film. And what he brings to this universe is a great sense of how to direct really epic action sequences and special effects, but he's also really good at slowly building and setting up characters and making us appreciate this world without overly relying on our knowledge of the Harry Potter universe or our love of the Harry Potter universe. And that's probably my number one favorite thing about this movie. Unlike almost every prequel ever made, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them does not rely on our fandom of other films to make us appreciate this one. Pretty much every remake, reboot, spin-off, sequel, prequel, whatever, they all have ties to the other things that we like, and some of them do it way too much. My wife is a far bigger Harry Potter fan than I am. She knows everything about the books. She knows everything about the backstory. She can tell you everything about anything Harry Potter ever. She knows it. And except for one little object in this film that she said as soon as she saw it, she knew what was going to happen, everything else was able to surprise her. And that's because Rowling and Yates and the entire creative team behind this movie have made a movie that stands on its own. You don't even have to have seen the Harry Potter films to understand and appreciate this movie. It can be a world on its own without having to even experience those other films. And that's something to be praised. They didn't rely on tons of fan service and references and little visual cues to make us go, oh, look, that's great-great-grandfather of this character. Like, we don't need that in this movie because they set up a good movie on its own. Eddie Redmayne is fantastic as Newt Scamander. He's vulnerable, he's very likable, and he's an extremely accessible character, but also one that is good at hiding past pain without making it seem cliched. And Dan Fogler as Kowalski, this normal No-Maj or Muggle who really wants to set up a bakery, who gets caught up in all of this. He's the audience character, you know, he's the guy who's constantly like, hey, what's going on? And they explain things to him. They're really explaining it to us, but he's that character. He was so good. He really added a lot to this movie, a lot of really good humor, while also being the audience character. He was the comic relief as well, and he never got annoying. He never felt like a sidekick. And that's something I was really glad, because as soon as he was like on the mission with Newt, I was like, oh shit, this could, oh. Okay. And by the end of the movie, that character was actually one of the most emotional elements of the film that actually did bring a tear to my eye. And I was sitting there like, am I kind of tearing up? Shit. I also really liked Katherine Waterston as Tina. She's investigating the things that are going on in New York City. A lot of things are scaring people. Weird sights, strange things are happening, and I'm not going to get too much into that. I think you guys should experience that aspect of the film without me even saying anything. What I will say is that it's awesome and it's a lot of fun. It's the type of film that allows you to get excited about future installments without feeling like a setup movie. My two least favorite Harry Potter films, even though I like them, were the first two because largely they did feel kind of like setup movies. Those were my biggest flaws of the first two Harry Potter films. Fantastic Beasts does set up a new world that we can appreciate that we've already been to, but this is a previous time. But it doesn't feel like it's just a setup movie. It feels like it stands on its own as an extremely entertaining film. I loved it. As for issues, I really only have a couple. In the earlier parts of the movie, there are two editing/CGI mistakes I noticed. The very first shot that we see, a wide shot with the Statue of Liberty, if you look to the right of the frame, I noticed that the American flag jumped unnaturally, and I think that was actually a CGI mistake. That's a nitpick, but since this is the first time I saw this movie and I noticed it right off the bat, I think other people probably will too. There's also a really strange editing choice where two characters in the beginning are walking past each other and the shots jump extremely fast to Katherine Waterston and then back to Eddie Redmayne, and I was like, ooh, that's messy editing. There are some narratively rocky points in the first act where there are some scenes that feel kind of like they're just entertaining scenes that will be great as a scene that you watch again, but don't necessarily feel like they fit in this story. And just like with any film like this that requires a lot of explaining, there are some heavy exposition scenes mostly given to Dan Fogler's character so that we as an audience can understand things, and sometimes it does feel like school, and that's really it. I had a blast with Fantastic Beasts. My wife, who's a huge Harry Potter fan, saw it with me and she loved it too. I think people are really going to enjoy this movie, especially if you're Harry Potter fans, but even if you're not, I think it's a fun and accessible movie that's going to get people excited. I'm going to give Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them an A-. This is the 9th film in the Harry Potter universe, and they're still good. That's amazing. So guys, I just got back from AFI Fest in California. I have a lot of reviews coming to you very soon. Tons of new releases. I saw Moana, I saw Split, I saw La La Land, Patterson I saw as well. A lot of really cool reviews coming to you guys, and normally I like to split them up over the course of a few days and let them breathe a little bit and space them out better, but because I got so many, you're gonna get a huge influx of reviews coming to you guys very soon. Look forward to that. Also, as I said, I have reviewed every single Harry Potter film over the course of this year. You're gonna get a link to that playlist in a minute here. I hope you do check those out. I had a ton of fun doing that. You guys are the best. I look forward to more Fantastic Beasts film. I'm glad this one was actually exciting and fun. Thank you so much as always for watching, guys, and if you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmanized.